All right, so today we're going to talk about how we can get manager attires to work properly within 2K24. Now, a big issue right now is with manager attires. Whenever you set a manager, the attire just doesn't work. You select, like, let's say you get, all right, for example, all right. So, for example, ignore everything in here so far. But let's say you download this cool boogeyman that you want to add to the Judgment Day. You want him to come out as a manager for Damian Priest, right? So you're going to download it. You're going to go into personal information, and it's going to be already set to no. Go ahead and set it as use as an alternate attire because you don't want another slot in your like list or whatever. You want to have it just say the boogeyman when he comes out and stuff like that. So go ahead and set it as an alternate attire. Totally fine. Go ahead and do that. And I will show you the issue with doing that when it comes to alternate attires. All right, and as you can see right now, I've got it set up where Damian Priest is going up against RVD with Boogeyman as his manager, and then attire selected is that purple one that we downloaded off of Community Creations. You can create attires and everything like that. This issue will persist. So let's go ahead and start match, and you're going to see Boogeyman reverts back to his alternate attire. This can be confirmed by like going through and actually watching the entrance. I don't know what Damian's entrance is like, so we're gonna watch just a little bit just to see if he pops up. But you're gonna see Boogeyman in the back, and he's just gonna be in the red regular Boogeyman outfit. Yeah, you can see back there easily. He's got his red, and it doesn't work out well. However, there's a way to fix that really quick when it comes to characters such as the Boogeyman, and I'm going to explain the difference between the two characters, so please watch through this entire video before you get through anything, because it doesn't work with everybody, and I'm going to explain who it doesn't work with. But what you're going to go ahead and do is go back to Edit Custom Superstar. You're going to go back to the Boogeyman there, and remember, this is set as an alternate attire, so when I click on Boogeyman, it'll pop up underneath him, and it'll say Boogeyman A2C, which I don't know what that stands for, but that's his thing. So we're going to go ahead and copy the attires over to the secondary slot. Now, this secondary slot is going to become the manager slot. Regardless of what you do, that secondary slot will always be the manager slot. You do not have to click anything here. You can, if you want, set this as a manager, but it doesn't do anything. This does nothing. Go ahead, and I'm going to keep it unclicked just to prove it to you. The one thing I'm going to change, just so you know that this secondary attire is, I'm going to give him a towel on his top. So we're just going to do this really quick just so you can see the difference. So in attire 2, he's got the towel. In attire 1, he doesn't have the towel. The reason I'm showing you that is because you will never get attire 1 as an alternate attire, or a manager attire, I should say. Regardless of what you do, alternate attire slot 1 will never be a manager slot. All right, as you can see right here, we're pulling up to Boogeyman. It doesn't have the Boogeyman A2C. It's literally Boogeyman. We have A2C1 and A2C2. You are not going to select A2C2. I know that sounds really weird, but you're not going to select him. You're going to select A2C1 now, or attire slot 1. So if you remember, in attire slot 2, I gave him that towel in the entrance. So we're going to go ahead and load up the match. So first things first, you can see up there, it's fixed. Boogeyman has the alternate attire on the loading screen or the matchup screen. But once we get into the match, which it was the attire 1, it's so confusing. It's the attire 1 because it didn't have the towel. But we're going to get into the match. Here comes the entrance. Here comes Damian. You're going to see in the back, you can see Boogeyman has the towel. So what you have to do is, if you want a certain attire as a manager attire, you have to set it as attire 2, and you have to select attire 1 whenever you are choosing them on the main screen. So choosing attire 2 will not do anything. It'll revert it back to the main Boogeyman red, so you're not even going to get the purple one. It's not reversed or anything like that. It doesn't work. However, this does not work for every character. This is where it is big issue, and I'm pretty sure I'm on patch 1.03. I will double check that, and it'll be in the description. I don't even know how to check like what patch I'm on. I think I have to go back to the main menu, but I'm not going to do that. the biggest issue is it does not work for every character, and I know exactly which characters it doesn't work for. So if you go into play and you go to WrestleMania 5 or whatever, so there are characters, for example, we have Solo Sikoa and we have Jimmy Uso, who is supposed to come out with Roman. This will never work. This will never work. That is because they already have an alternate attire. This Solo Sikoa WrestleMania 39 is causing issues and will not let your alternate attires be used when you select them as managers. If I want to play with Solo Sikoa in this, that is totally fine. It'll work. However, because when I set him as a manager, it will not work. And this goes for every single character who has a secondary attire, which is extremely annoying. So, for example, I'm not going to make a list because I'm pretty sure it's like pretty obvious, but Roman Reigns, he's got a WrestleMania 39 attire. He will never come out as a manager in anything. Who else? Who else was I thinking? Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. So, for example, I have this Royal Rumble attire for Kevin Owens. I did the towel trick as well, but it doesn't come out when he's set as a manager. Let's say you set him as a manager for Sami, he will always come out in his main attire, the one that came with the game. That is an issue because these two are here and it just doesn't work out. It makes it so it's impossible to set that. However, for example, Kem Shamrock, because you have him have a special enforcer attire, if you try to get a secondary attire and make him a manager for somebody, he will not come out in that. There is somewhat of a workaround, but it's not the best. So the way I have made this be a workaround is I have, for example, let's go into Roman Reigns. I have Roman Reigns here, and I have a regular non-attire, so it's not set as an alternate attire, Roman Reigns, which I put universe. I'm probably going to change it to manager. But, for example, like this Solo Sikoa manager, I have this Jimmy Uso manager, I think. Let me find it. Yep, I got his manager attire right here. So that is a huge issue right now with 2K. That if a character has a secondary attire, like such as Cody Rhodes has one. Got the WrestleMania 39 attire. Sami Zayn, I'm pretty sure he has one. Yep, WrestleMania 39 attire. I don't know who else has. Actually, there is a couple of people who do have it. That would be Scott Hall. He has an NWO attire. I tried to make it work with this. It did not work. I gave him glasses on the second attire, but it did not work. I tried to make him come out as a manager for Kevin Nash. Didn't work. You cannot, like, even if I wanted to do this and do Scott Hall, I wanted them both to come out like that. I'm pretty sure this doesn't work. I haven't checked it, but for example, let's go ahead and just do this with the, let's select two managers so you can see it's not like just because Paul Heyman's there or whatever. Let's do Jimmy Uso and let's do Alts 1 because we want this Alts 2 to be his manager attire. Remember, we already figured that out. We're going to go back to Solo and we're going to select his manager or regular attire, and we're going to just do Solo Alts 1 because we want the second alt. We're going to do this, and we got Kevin Nash coming out with that Scott Hall, both of them at the NWO shirt. Okay, so that works. So if it is set as like in the game, if they have like a secondary attire, that'll work. However, the first, like, you cannot ever get an alternate attire with somebody. It's so confusing. I'm hoping you're understanding what I mean. But if they already have an alternate attire tied to that character, yeah, actually, look, they didn't come out in the NWO stuff. I don't think. Oh, yeah, that's the NWO stuff. Never mind. It would say Outsiders on them. It says Outsiders on Kevin Nash, but Scott, I don't know. It's confusing. Very confusing. I don't know how to make it. I don't know how to get some characters to work when it comes to alternate attires, but I do have somewhat of a workaround. I skipped his entrance, but as you can see down there in the bottom, you have Jimmy and Solo both in their regular attire. They're not in that alternate attire that I like put as the manager attire or whatever. The biggest like workaround that I have found is a very, very bad workaround. And that is the manager attire selection slot. So let's go ahead and select Roman Reigns. We'll come him out in this. Oh, let's do that. And then let's add a manager. We're going to add 3. You got Paul Heyman just to make it easier. It works if you select this. So we have Solo Sikoa, the manager slot, and then we're going to do Jimmy Uso with the manager slot. I'm going to do 2. We'll just do this. So as you can see up top, it has those slots selected, which is good, but Roman Reigns in particular is a very weird character in the bloodline, like in general. The bloodline, like the entire like entrance situation is all messed up. Roman's going to come out by himself with the belt, and all 3 of the other guys are going to be behind him, like whatever. Even if you edit teams and just replace the characters without changing anything else, it still does this exact same entrance motion. It doesn't change it. There's no way to select the bloodline 4-man entrance. So you are stuck when it comes to, if you want that 4-man entrance, you are stuck. You have to use the main roster attire for the manager attires. I'm pretty sure that's just for Roman. I haven't tried it with Judgment Day, but I kind of feel like the issue's gonna come through with Judgment Day as well because of all the belts and stuff like that. Like, I'm pretty sure theirs is all messed up. So there are ways around it, but not great ways around it. And it's just super frustrating. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to like that bloodline entrance that you're missing out on, if you do this alternate attire like situation, I'm going to go ahead and show it to you because it is really cool. You can't change anybody in the bloodline and you can't make it work. So it's very frustrating. I hope that they patch this. I hope that they make it so you can literally just go and select 4-man entrances, which would make this so much easier, but it would also make it easier if they fixed the alternate attires. I completely understand, like, it's with adding in like the WrestleMania 39 attires and stuff like that, it makes it harder to get that set up. But take a look at this entrance. It's so cool, and I wish I could get like Jimmy in that no yeet shirt, Solo in his jacket, instead of them in their fight gear. I'll call it the fight gear. It would be so cool to get it set up where you don't have to have it set up like this. You can have like the bloodline Titantrons instead of just Romans. There's just a lot of issues with it that makes it very annoying. But yeah, I mean, I've gone through how you can make it work when it comes to like secondary attires. Like, you can use it for characters like who don't have like a cool like WrestleMania attire. So like, for example, if you want Rick Steiner to come out as Braun Breaker's manager, you just have to set like both attires either the same or like set the attire 2 as a manager attire and you'll be fine. But when it comes to like making a full like entrance like this, worrying about like the bloodline or having like Sammy and Kevin come out, you have to make a secondary character, which is very annoying. But yeah, I mean, other than that, if you have any questions, leave them down below, because I know this video might have been all over the place, but I tried to explain it the best I could. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.